In this video, we are going to explore the exploded view, and once we have an assembly, we can make an exploded view of this component by component. Once created, we can edit the exploded view, and we can use it within a drawing. Exploded views are saved with an active configuration, and we can have more than one exploded view. So first we're going to look at a couple good practices. And the first one is we're going to create a configuration for storing that exploded view. And then we're also going to create a mate to hold that assembly in a starting position. So we always have something to come back to. So I'm just going to bring this over and turn this kind of maybe not quite 90. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a configuration. So of course, everybody remembers how to create a configuration. We're going to come up here to the configuration manager. We're going to click on it. We're going to click on our highest level, our flashlight configuration. We're going to right click, and then we're going to add a configuration. And we'll name this exploded view. And we're going to click OK. And so by doing this, this is going to allow us to toggle back and forth between the two views a lot easier. All right, so now our exploded view is our active view. We're going to come back. And if we come down here, and we're going to open our mate folder. Actually, let me just close this. And I'm going to move this over. And if we look on page 504, I mean, we're not going to get it exact, but it's kind of positioned something like that. So if we come down here in our mates and we find angle 1, it's kind of grayed out, it's suppressed. So if we click on this and I'm going to unsuppress it, what that is going to do with that angle is it's going to kind of lock that in place, and it's going to kind of be our home base a little bit. So if we look at page 504 in the book, this is kind of what we're going after, and this is what an exploded view is. We're just basically taking all the parts and we're separating them out from each other, and it kind of gives us an idea of how this thing is assembled. If we move over to 505, we've got two options, and over in this section, we can explode this linearly. And what that means is we're taking these parts, we're separating them in a straight line. Our other option is, if we look at this example of this body, is we can explode a view radially. And you can see that these screws are coming out in a radial fashion around that part. And again, it's showing how do those screws assemble. So those are our two options for exploding the view. Looking at page 506, when we created an exploded view, we have an exploded view property manager. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to use this to create and store all the exploded steps in order. And so what this explode steps window does is it not only does it lists the steps in order, it lists the part which we are exploding in order, and it's got a rollback bar. And so we can come back in here, we can control that. We've used the rollback bar before. This operates the same way. We're going to add steps, and then we've got options for auto spacing, or we can put our own spacing in there. Again, we can rotate parts. And then before we're done, and it says important, you can use this for reference, do not click OK until we've got all the exploded steps created within in the exploded view property manager. And so basically the steps that we're going to take, and we're just going to rinse and repeat until we're done with all the steps, is listed right here. And we're going to select the component that we want to explode from the assembly. We're going to move the component. We're going to drag and drop. And again, we can do it along an axis, or we can do it a ring, like the radial. And so we're going to move that component where we want it. And then we're going to right click, or we're going to click done to complete that step. And again, we're just going to do this with every single part that we want to include in that exploded view. All right, so last, before we get back into the drawing, is so we have a move manipulator, and these axes are used to create the vector movement. So we're going to use this and we can drag it along an axis. There's going to be an arrow that shows up as well. And once we use this, we can use this arrow to actually measure the step distance, and we can modify it based, on how far we want these parts away from each other. And then last, there is a way to edit it. We're going to right click and we can edit each step. We can change the direction of the step or set the distance. So we're going to go back to the drawing now. Okay, so to start this exploded view, we're going to come up here to the top, and we've got an icon for explode view. And this activates our property manager for exploded view. And right here, we're going to add step, and it's a regular step. This one would be for a radial step. And so we're going to add this. And now I'm going to come over here and I want to click this locking pin. And what that does is when I click on the component, it activates my move manipulator. And we can see that the axes are lined up with the axes how it was created. You can see the X, the Y, and the Z. And if we look down here, it's got the X, Y, and Z, and it's in the same direction. And so now I can left click and drag up, and now it brings this scale. And we're just going to drag this up. It doesn't have to be exact, but about 30 millimeters. Okay. And once we've got that done, we're going to come over here and we can either right click or we can click done. And now we've created our first step in the exploded view. Let's do our next step. I'm going to roll this over about 90 degrees so we can expose that other pin. And we want this regular step. I'm going to come down here and click on this. Now, even though the arrow shows the other way, we can still drag on it. We're going to bring this out to about 30 millimeters like we did the other one. And we're going to click done. If I ever say okay, don't do okay, because typically okay means green check mark. So we want to click done. We want to be specific about it. And now we've got both of these locking pins dragged out from their original position. Okay, for this next step, if you remember, and we've talked about this in a couple of the previous videos, this handle is a sub-assembly. We have the batteries inside and the cover, this clip. And so if I come down here to the bottom and where it says select sub-assembly parts, if I leave this unchecked, and we're going to do that first, when I select this, the whole sub-assembly is going to move away from that head. If I check this, then it's going to allow us to select individual parts, and I can move the cover back, I can move this pin out, I can move that clip. And so let's leave this unselected for right now. We're going to click on, we're adding a step. The regular step is highlighted, so we're going to click on this, and we're going to drag this out about 55 millimeters. Okay, and so you can see it dragged that whole sub-assembly. Okay, again, let's be intentional, and we're going to click done. Okay, next we're going to, if you look on page 510, it's exploding these views of some of the components in the sub-assembly, and so that's what we'll do. And so we want to come down here, we want to check this box, select sub-assembly components. And first we're going to pick this cover. We're going to move this out 100. Click done. We're going to click on this clip. We're going to move this out 30. And we're going to click done. We're going to click on this front cap, and we're going to move that 30. I actually went a little out of sequence of the book, but I think we're going to be okay. That's 30. And I'm going to click done. I'm going to click this pin. And we're going to move this up 25. And click done. And then we are going to roll this over. And we're going to click on this switch. And we're going to move this up 30. And click done. And this is, like right now, this is approximately the kind of the view. If I can get this, it's not exact, but that's kind of the view that it's shown in the book at this point. So I can also select multiple items and drag them in the same direction. And so if I come down here, I'm going to select this battery, and I'm going to select this battery, and I'm going to drag these out about 75. And I'm going to click done. And so for right now, this is how your drawing should look so far. We're going to edit this, or we're going to end this video here, and we're going to finish the exploded view with one more video.